Okay, so let's get started then. Welcome back. This is our sort of our Christmas event. A number of you have sent in some of the ornaments that you've done recently, and some recent non-Christmas carvings as well. So we're going to be taking a look at those tonight. So we'll have a little bit of fun with that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a share screen here, and we'll get started. Okay, and hopefully everybody can see that okay.
Very good.
Okay. And so again, in the right-hand corner of your screen, top right-hand corner of your screen, you'll probably see a number of bars there, and you can click on the bar that gives you the best view of the screen. As Murray was saying earlier, everybody wants to go on mute, because if you don't go on mute, what'll happen is as soon as there's a sound from your end, you'll pick up all of the video. All right. Okay, so this is our first annual Christmas caricature carving extravaganza. And so we'll have a little bit of fun with this, I think. So John Paul Andre is here, and I'm Mark Sheridan. And again, those are our email addresses should you want to get hold of us at any time for a chat or a quick question. In tonight's Zoom call, we're going to open it up just for general questions and comments, anything that has come up from our last number of calls that you want to share, or anything in particular that you want to question. We're going to talk a little bit about the True North Caricature Carvers YouTube channel. We're getting a little bit of activity on that channel, so we'll talk a little bit about that and how we can get involved in that. And then we're just going to go through some of the slides that have been sent in to me, and a number of slides have been sent in to me, and we'll look at the individual Christmas and other projects that were sent in, and just enjoy that work. John Paul is going to spend a little bit of time on Christmas ornament painting, so he's going to give us a quick example of how he's gone ahead and gone about doing Christmas ornament painting, and then we'll talk about tips, chips, and tricks. Any tips or techniques anybody wants to share. So I'll come off of screen share and just open it up for any comments or questions. And again, you know, the whole notion of what we do here as a group is have a very informal opportunity to talk about caricature carving and talk about sharing ideas and tips. So jump in at any point in time. You're already on mute, and an easy way to get off mute is just to hit the space bar and hold the space bar down on your whatever you're using, and you'll come off of mute. And when you're finished talking, you can take your hand off that and it'll be on mute again. So so if anybody has any questions or comments before we get started, that'd be great to hear from you.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, the space bar thing works good. I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I haven't been well, and I just was back. It's been a while since I've been on, so I just wanted to get things rolling by wishing everybody a Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too.
Same to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back with us, Daniel, and hope you're feeling better.
Mark, did you want to record this tonight too?
Yes, thank you for saying that.
Okay, just a second. We'll make sure you're on here.
It says, please ask the host to give me permission to do that very thing.
Yeah, he's recording.
I think you need to give me permission to do that, Murray.
Okay.
It's already recording right now.
Yeah, Murray's recording it. He's just suggesting that I record as well, because I slice and dice it a little bit as well. So. Okay, that's fine, Murray. When you're ready with that, I'll start recording.
You're ready now.
Okay. Okay, done. Okay, any other comments, questions before we get started?
Just a thought that I'd had with the 2023 coming up in the magazine for the winter. If some of you would like to feature your carvings in that edition or coming edition following that in the springtime, if what you could do when you're doing the carving, if you take pictures of each stage, for instance, the pattern and then the rough out, and then from there, the different cuts that you're making and so on, until you came to the point that you got your caricature done. And then perhaps you're sanding and going, or you're finishing on it and then putting your washes on, and you're just to give a step. So you can, once you record all of that on your camera, then write me a short article and we'll put you in the magazine.
Okay, thanks, Murray.
Very good magazine, by the way.
I was going to comment on that too. They were really
Yeah.
well done.
Good
Blood,
addition.
sweat, and tears.
Yeah, it's hopefully there is a future. But like we had our Christmas at the Oodaway Wood Carvers, our Christmas auction, and we had a good turnout, but still some people seem to be hesitant to show up, you know. So it's good to know that it's just not us. It's hopefully we'll dig out of this.
Where was that, Serge?
The Oodaway Wood Carvers in Ottawa.
You had a fairly good turnout though.
Oh yeah, we did, but we still, you know, still see some people that you don't see. But yeah, we had, you know, a good auction and to gather funds for the club, and it was a great night. But hopefully, everybody's club or whoever you meet with improves and trying to get some new members in. That seems to be the big issue. So hopefully we all succeed in 2023 of growing back the memberships. So.
Mhm. Yeah, and you know, in the same vein, hopefully we're, as a group, the True North Caricature Carvers, are able to get together live too next year. That would be really nice, even if we do it area by area. A few of us getting together, that would be a really terrific step for us as a group. So hopefully that'll be the case as well.
In Nova Scotia area.
Yeah. And you serve the lobster, right?
That
We're
one I
there.
might be able to make it to.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, let me just talk for a minute about the True North Caricature Carving YouTube channel. So that's something that I created quite some time ago, and we put one short video on it, just introducing what we were all about, or what we thought we were all about at the time. And haven't put another video on until recently. Murray's been putting our full Zoom calls on underneath his name on his Zoom channel. Just so if you just search for Murray Lincoln, you'll find all of our recordings of every one of our Zoom calls. What I did was I started by taking our last Zoom meeting, and I just pulled out the section that Lee Baldwin did, if you recall him talking about using a wood burning tool. And so it turned out to be kind of like a 13, 14, 15-minute video, and I put it on our True North Caricature Carving channel. And then I followed up with that by putting a couple of Christmas ornament projects on that I created here, and I let you know about it. And so we have maybe 4 or 5 videos now on our channel. I'm going to probably this weekend pull out the piece you did, Furnace, the other day on sharpening, and I'll put that together as a 12-minute video. Baz also did the piece on building an armature and doing clay modeling, and I'll put that as a separate video. The idea being, you know, we'll have the Zoom calls Murray's managing, and on our True North Caricature Carving channel on YouTube, we'll have these little 14, 15-minute snippets that hopefully people will make use of. So what's happened since then is we've had a lot of hits on that True North Caricature Carving channel. So upwards of a couple thousand views of all of the videos. And we've gone from something like 25 subscribers to 150 subscribers. Now, I don't really understand fully the ramifications of having subscribers, but at least for those people, they'll get a notification whenever we place a new video on that channel. So if you're on YouTube, look up True North Caricature Carvers, and you'll go to the channel and see our full library of videos. If you have trouble with that, look up my name, Mark Sheridan, and you'll see those videos. Only because I created it, automatically my name goes to it. And what I wanted to suggest to you is that at any time that you wanted to make a video, there's the place to put your video. So if you're working on a little project and you'd like to make a video of it, or if you'd like to make a video of the projects you've done recently, so you have that as history for yourself and want to share it, put it on the True North Caricature Carvers YouTube channel. And you can just give me a heads up on that. I suspect because I created the channel, I have to bless it and make sure that everything's okay with it before it goes on the channel. So give me a heads up anyway. If you need any help with that, I'll give you a little bit of help. I'm learning myself, but I'll tell you what I know about it. So make use of that, and we'll try to get a number of our videos from each one of us as group members, and develop a little bit of library that would be useful to us and to people outside of our group at this point. Okay.
So if you like the videos, though, like them. Hit the like button. That gives us more traction. That gives us more output out there. And subscribe to the channel. That's good. It's a good
And
thing.
if you don't like them,
Yeah, don't
keep
worry
that
about
to
it.
yourself. Yeah, keep that to yourself.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay, so give that some thought. If you feel like making a video, it's a lot of fun. It's not all that hard, and it's kind of fun. Any questions about that? Okay, I'm going to go back to share screen here, and hopefully you see that all clearly. And so what we're going to do now is look at the individual projects, and we'll get each individual that sent in one to say a few words about what they sent in. Okay, Murray, I'm going to start with you. This is one that you showed us before, but you might want to remind us of it.
It's just the Christmas pickles have been a lot of fun. And when you carve them, there will be people interested immediately. The top ones are all the large size, and the smaller size. I was going to fill a jar full like one of the other carvers did when he showed his pickles, but I didn't get around to that. They just sold too fast. So I got an order. I've got to do 10 of them tonight or the next night, somewhere in that area, because I'm going to have surgery on a left-hand thumb. So it's going to be Christmas holidays. I just sit back and do nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
But the idea of the pickles, the people have contributed different thoughts to it. When you put them out, they've all got a different idea of how to use it. And some people have said they've hide it in the Christmas tree. And when somebody finds it, there's a monetary gift given to them, a card or something, like some money in an envelope. It gets the kids' interest pretty quick. And the other ones that sometimes just getting the pickle, you get blessings for the whole year. So that's a bit about the pickles.
I also saw something that if you find the pickle, you get an extra present too. That's,
that's
another way to do it. Eh? Yeah.
Yeah. And these are the Christmas owls, the funky Christmas owls. And the idea of it is that when they have the owl available, you can see the kind of points on the head and the beak and everything has got a little bit of sharpness to it. Somebody's ringing somebody.
Daniel, you'll just want to go on mute there.
Anyway, what you do is when the relatives start driving you crazy, the kids drive you crazy, it's been a rough day at Christmas Day, pick up the owl, squeeze it tight, and you won't say something bad.
Those
Gives
are
you
nice.
wisdom.
Any questions for Murray? Those are nice, Murray. Okay, Furtis, why don't you talk about this one?
Yeah, this one I did like over a year back. It was just something I wanted to try out. I kind of follow Alex Joyner. He's one of the wood carvers that carves a lot of Santa ornaments and Santas. So I just kind of tried his style. So I really enjoyed this. This is a 3-inch by probably 8-inch piece that I started with and tried carving. It was over a year back. Yeah.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Any questions for Furtis on that one?
About how long did it take?
Probably 5, 6 hours, 8 hours, maybe, I guess. Was very slow at that time. Now
You've done a
I've
very nice
improved.
job. You've done a very nice job.
Thank you.
Did you do something with the eyes to make them a little shinier, or do they just look shinier?
No, I didn't do anything special, Mark. I just kind of painted it.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
special.
Sometimes I'll come back with a little 5-minute epoxy, and sometimes I do the whole eye, although sometimes that makes the eye look like it's watery a little bit. Others just do the pupil, and that just gives it enough of a glisten to, you know, catch the light whichever way you turn it. So kind of an easy way to do that.
Yeah, so this is just an elf ornament I did recently. I did look at your elf carving, Mark,
Yeah.
and kind of tried to make my own from that. I kind of used the beard somehow matches your elf carving beard, so I used that. And this is just carved out of a corner piece, 2x2 corner piece. It's about I think 5 inches tall, and I had good fun carving this guy.
Very good.
I also sent you some other pictures, Mark. Did you get? There were 2 other Santa carvings.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only got
Ornaments.
I only got these 2.
Okay, I'll just pull the picture
Yeah, that'd be great.
up. So these are the other 2. Let me know if you can see
Oh,
that.
great.
too.
Thanks.
Yeah, so this is the other Santa, couple of Santa ornaments I did. Like these are all like I just gave them out as gifts to family members and stuff. So I had some fun doing these 2 as well. The one with the hat, that's kind of the tall hat. He is about probably 5.5 inches. The other one is like 4.5. So I did watch Doug Linker's video. So the other one with the hat falling on the side, it's kind of I used his concept, but kind of tried to make my own. So both these were carved like that.
Those are really nice. Sorry I didn't get that on the slide deck. Those are beautiful
Yeah.
carvings.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing these. I've got few more to do.
Nice. Any questions for Furtis? Thanks, Furtis. Roger, you want to talk about a few?
Yeah.
I had 3 slides here that I put together for you.
Okay. This is my country yokel heading off to the county fair. And I had a lot of fun trying to make the straw hat. And I decided to go very light on the dry brushing, only because I want him to look sort of freshly, sparkly clean that he was heading off. And I just sort of did a little bit of yellowing of his shirt to show he was picking up all old clothes and stuff like that. And he was heading off to the fair. So that was the concept I had behind it. I had a lot of fun making it.
Did you make the hat separately?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Hats in 2 pieces, as a matter of fact, the rim and then the top for it. And I must admit, I had a hell of a time making trying to bring out a yellowy without too much yellow, and trying to get it a little bit aged, but still looking like straw.
You did a good job. That looks really good.
I have a question, Roger. Where do you get these bottle stoppers from? Like that piece that you have inserted in the.
I can't remember the name of the site. It's a Canadian site out of Toronto. But if you just type in bottle stoppers, they sell various kits and bits and pieces of it. I only use one part of their kit. And there's an insert that goes up into the bottom, and then you could just screw the bottom part into it.
Well, William Woodwright in Waterloo or Kitchener, they might have them. And I'm not sure if woodchucker still exists in Toronto.
Yeah, they
I
do.
think
Yeah,
they
they-
do.
in
So 'cause
Scarborough,
they
yeah.
sell a lot of turning, because this, a lot of turners have those. So that's another, I don't know if Lee Valley still sell, they used to years ago.
I'll check it out. Thank you.
I like how you pinch the collar here, Roger.
Yeah, thanks.
I like that. And is this a toothpick?
No, it's a piece of real straw.
Real straw. Oh, okay, good,
Yeah.
good. I missed that. Hey, that's good. Don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
well, you can see the bottle behind that was the hard part in making the bottle stopper, finishing the bottle before I did it.
Yeah.
But these two carvings are off the internet, and what I've been experimenting with is because the concept I'm trying to get is a very rough and sort of grumbly and dirty type of guy. I don't finish them off as well as I could. I leave a lot of the fuzziness and some of the knife cuts a little bit visible because I think it added. Well, I thought at the time it would add to the carvings, but I've decided that these are my last two, and I keep these around just to remind me that this is where you were and where I'm going to head to next. So,
A good idea.
and this is my Christmas Santa, pucker up, and that was a lot of fun. Again, that was a pattern I took off of the internet, and they're a lot of fun to make, and they're easy to finish off. And I guess I should show, if I'm on the screen, I guess, where do I go here? Back here.
Yeah, you're on the screen now, Roger. Yeah.
Okay, I've copied one of Mark's pickles, one of his designs. It's for the little girl next door. She's 6 years old. So I added a little bit of color. Her favorite colors are pink and purple. So I use those for the toque, and I put some lips and pink on it for her. So I hope she enjoys that.
Really nice. That's become a little bit of an obsession with you, though, Roger. I'm starting to worry about you and pickles.
It's not my obsession. It was you started it, showing it to my wife.
Okay, any questions or comments for Roger? Those are nice carvings.
Thank you.
Jerry, are you on the line tonight? Jerry might not be on the line. This is one that he had actually in our last competition. It's just a beautifully done Santa, really a smart looking design and really well executed. So I wanted to put that on so you could see it. And Eric, are you on the line tonight?
There. Yep, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, this is a variant of what Sue McCallum showed us. She introduced us at a workshop in doing the pickles. I didn't know about Murray's, but the first time I heard about all this pickle business was from Sue. She had a simpler design, and I just sort of elaborated a bit, and I added the googly eyes. I've done this in some other carvings. Of course, you only see them if you move it, then the pupil will move around. So anyway, this is the first effort to create a variation, and then the next two are, quote, true German or Austrian pickles with the hat and the Gemspot, the hair piece on top there. This one's going to my son and family.
Nice.
That's really cute.
Just at the very top, you just get a bare hint of this. The ornate, what do they call it? It's a Dollarama package of 40 ornate, curvy, ornamental hooks. And can you? Yep.
Yeah, just hold it in front of your face. There you go.
Yeah. They had last year, a year before, they had brass ones, which I really liked because I used the brass eyelets. But this year, I couldn't find brass ones, but they had lots of these silver ones, and they have the same shape. I just love them because they're ornate, and I hook it onto the top eyelet, and that's how I give the little carvings away.
Yeah, and where did you get those, Eric?
Dollarama.
At Dollarama, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the next carving is just a variant of the same sort of thing. When I look at these, when I take pictures and look at them, then I sort of cringe a little bit because of the fuzziness in the beard and so on. When I don't paint them and I just use mineral oil, which I often do, I tend not to see that as much. It just sort of blends a lot more. The first one that you showed is a little smoother all around because it didn't have a beard as such. But with my beards, I guess I have to learn to sharpen my V tools and stuff a little bit more, or just improve my technique in making clearer cuts. Anyway, but I was keen on telling you about these
Yeah.
curved hooks because I really love them.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
I did send a pickle to my sister down in Florida. I created a small pickle jar. It's on, or the top of the pickle jar. It's only about 2 inches high, 2 inches around, with some grooves around the top for the screw part of it. And I put I hauled it partially, put the pickle in, and at the bottom of, it's similar to this one. At the bottom, I put a little peg into the pickle and a hole down in the partial pickle barrel, and stuck it in that way. And I was just so pleased. She really got to like that. I actually put a label on it, pickle barrel on it as well. So
That's really
that's
good.
been my effort for the last little while, creating pickles.
It's starting to feel like we should have a pickle competition as we approach next Christmas, eh?
Yes, I suppose that might be worth it.
These are
Thanks.
really good. I like this one, Eric, the fact that you actually put a face on it. It's not the same color as the pickle all the way around. So that's really unique, you know, and just the contours of the face. I think that's really cool. These are beautiful as well. I think you're right about you know, V tools and using channels. They're hard to they're really hard to sharpen, especially I find a V tool very hard to sharpen. If you have a small gouge and you have one of those you know, you've seen in earlier Zoom calls where we had that flex cut little block with a suede on the piece, you know, those channels are there, and those are kind of nice to sharpen up the channel. But that might help you with you know, any concerns you might have with fuzziness. But those are beautiful carvings.
Thanks.
Any comments or questions for Eric? Okay, thanks, Eric. Sue, got a couple of slides here from you.
Yeah, these Santas actually are inspired by Blake Lunsford's Santas that he did. And I wanted to try a few of them, a little variation on them. Interestingly enough, the one on the far left gave me the most problem, and I almost chucked it. And I kept going with it, and it turned out I liked the way he turned out the best. But yeah, at the beginning, I was having a few problems there. I had taken off a little bit too much of the mustache at the upper lip, and I thought, how am I going to fix this? And anyway, it turned out okay. I don't mind it. Typically, I don't paint my faces. I usually oil them just so you can see the wood. I happen to prefer that look, but it's a matter of personal preference. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so they've done pretty well this year with those guys, but I still have a couple left, and a few learnings about some of the eyes. But other than that, I was pretty happy with the way they turned out.
I guess so. Now,
Yeah.
Very good.
what would you, you know, Eric was commenting that he wasn't as happy as he thought he could be with the fuzziness in the beard. What do you do when you approach like a beard or a mustache that might be helpful to Eric?
Sharp tools are a big one. And then what I typically do with most of my beards is I start off actually with the U-gouge, usually something around a number 11. And I do the beards like sweeping whatever way I want to get them sweeping. And then after that, I take my V tool and go down the middle of those gouge marks. And but again, a sharp tool is definitely very important. Yeah.
Okay.
I happen to be one of those weird types who really loves to sharpen. So yeah, so it's but it was fun. Yeah, they were a fun carve. I enjoyed them.
Really done nice. The other thing that I noticed in these carvings, I like the flesh color. So how did you come up with the flesh color?
It's just oil.
It is oil. Okay.
It's Odie's dark oil,
Mhm.
I believe, that's on those ones. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
And I like those Odie's oil. I mean, they're kind of expensive, but when you're doing small pieces like this, a jar will last you forever. So
Mhm.
it's not such a big deal. But yeah, I just like that look because that way you can still see it's a carved piece, but that there's wood underneath. And then sometimes if I don't happen to have that handy or whatever, I'll just leave it bare and then put Howard's feed and wax over it, the
Okay.
whole thing,
Yeah.
including the face. Yep.
Really
Eric
nice.
here. I tend to use just mineral oil, because vets use it, you can drink it, give it to horses, and
Mhm.
it seems to do the same coloring
Yeah.
in the wood. But is there a particular reason that you would use that special oil? Does it last longer or create a bit more of a
I
sheen or
like
what?
I like the look that they call it the dark oil. But if I did a one where I put some of the dark oil and some of the regular side by side on just a uncarved piece of basswood, and it's not like a striking difference between the two, but I just happen to like the look that it gives, and it dries a little faster than mineral oil. I like I guess I'm impatient, but once I'm at that point, I like to get it done and dusted kind of thing. So yeah.
Hey, Sue, where do you buy this oil from?
I get it from KJP here in Ottawa. It's I think they pretty much carry the whole line. They've got the wood butter, the wax, the oils, and a few other things. I think most people buy them for doing major pieces of furniture, but you can usually get it at any place where they sell wood. Yeah. And if you look
Okay.
online under Odie's oil, probably under Canadian distributors, you'd be able to find where you could get it too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Stu, how does it spell? Is it ODIES?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, that's the one. Okay, I remember. Thanks.
Yeah. And then there's another variation made by the same company, and it's called something Cornwallis, but it is still made by Odie's oil. And I've got one jar of that, and it works. It's the same. I don't know why they have that name on there, but it's still Odie's oil. It's on there as well.
Okay, and we've heard a lot about your pickles
Gee.
here too.
What a shock! More
The
pickles.
whole gang, the whole lineup
I
here.
feel guilty. But I don't even know how I got started with this. I was carving a bunch of Santas and stuff for Christmas markets, but it was still I was doing farmers markets in the summertime, and I was just getting kind of bored of doing them, and I just picked up a piece of wood and did a pickle, and it just kept going and going and going. And I ended up selling a lot of them, even like in August, when you wouldn't think people would be that interested in them. And like everybody else has said, many stories and variations on, people would tell me what their family traditions were. The most common one I heard was if the person finds it first, they get a special gift, or they determine the order of how the gifts will be opened within the family. And I think that's probably something that people with kids probably do. But yeah. So anyway, there they are. No particular pattern. I just kind of went to it and, did a bunch of different colors and designs, put a few Santa hats on some, changed up the, the faces here and there, and just used an eye punch for the dots, just so that it would catch the paint So they're not raised or anything, but it's just so to catch the paint so that it wouldn't run.
So I'd
And
like
that's
to-
it. Pickles,
I'd
I've
like to
sold a
ask
lot.
you, Sue.
Hmm?
I didn't, I meant to ask at our meetings, but the dots, what do they
Mhm.
represent? Because when I was doing my pickle, like to do the texturing, I looked up real pickles, all kinds, you know, they've got little bristles on them, linear lines, but what are the circular markings supposed to represent? Because I don't understand that.
Well, normally, like if you look at a dill pickle, you'll see those raised marks all over it.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
bumps. Mhm.
Yep, little bumps. Yeah, or if you look at gherkins have little bumps all over them.
They could
But
be
as-
beauty marks. They could be beauty marks.
They could be. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not too well versed with the anatomy of a pickle, but I know that they do have those little raised marks on them. And so I just put them on to add a little bit of interest to them. And that's about it. And as Eric said, I did a workshop at one of our club meetings, and people were pretty happy with them. And then the following week at our get together on Friday, I had a lot of people bringing their pickles in, showing them to me, and asking questions and stuff. So it was just fun. It was something that got everybody kind of interested in the club, and it was fun. Yeah.
The other thing I'd add to that, Sue, is that it's a good way to practice doing a face, because faces are really difficult to do. Caricature faces are difficult to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's a really good way to get the whole notion of a deep eye socket and the nose
Yeah.
protruding, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And I think having the opportunity to carve out those eyes too, it kind of gives you some practice for really working with the tip of your knife, always watching where it is, because it's such a small area up there that if you're not watching, you could easily just take out a huge chunk, and that would be that. But it worked out pretty good. Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sue.
Hello,
Thank
this is Richard.
Hi.
You were going in and out with with my computer. It said there's a not a good connection. Could you again please tell me how you spell that oil, and where I might try and find it?
Yeah. It's Odies, Odies oil. And
Thank
what
you.
area are you in?
London.
Ah, I see. I'm sure if you checked like at some of your wood suppliers, like just regular wood suppliers that supply people that build like larger pieces of furniture, you'll find it there.
I'm just checking online right now on DUAD.
Mhm.
It's listed for 6250.
Yeah, don't go on Amazon because it's very pricey.
Yeah.
What
I have a
variant
question
were you
for-
using, Sue? What's
Pardon
the variant that you like?
I like the Odies dark oil. Yeah. You can see it's not totally dark, but it does add just a little bit of color. Yeah. And as I say, it's expensive enough, but a jar will last you a long, long time. Yeah.
I just make a comment here too about the pickles. As you follow through with many of the different carvers across North America, people have morphed from pickles to carrots to parsnips.
Oh, really?
And anything it's almost like there was a kids video series a long time ago with Bob was one of the characters in Pickle too. Anyway, they've got different colors now and different characters, and the shape of the carrot with all the
Isn't
different
that
things you can make in it is really kind of fun. So this is something
Yeah.
you could sell, even though it's not Christmas, you can go right in through the season in it.
Exactly.
I did a carrot. I did a carrot.
Oh, that's cool. Can you put
Oh,
it
that's
to the lens?
cool.
Put it closer to the camera lens.
You'll have to speak up, John.
Oh, hello, here's my carrot. I can't see myself on the screen. Is it
Looks
is it
good.
there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Okay.
Hey,
Okay,
Sue.
thank you, Sue.
Hey, Sue. It's,
I had a
it's Lloyd.
question for Susan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi,
I
Susan.
like.
It's
Hey,
Fred
how are
from
you, Sue?
Kingston.
I love your pickles, Sue. They're great. I've been doing pickles too, and I've seen a lot of people doing corn cobs now as well. But
It's,
I can add to Mark's comment that I've been doing the pickles mainly because I love doing the faces and practicing faces. It gives you a great opportunity to practice all these different images of the mouth and different modes in that. But they look very good. Thank you.
Here it is. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Susan?
Yeah.
Just a question. It's Fred from Kingston. I love your pickles. They're great.
Thank
I've never been a fan of making them, but they're certainly interesting. What does something like that sell for? Like, what do you normally sell them for? $5, $2, $6?
No, I was actually at one market when I first started. I sold them for 10, and the second one I sold them for 15.
Wow. And those are
Yeah.
they're only about 3-4 inches tall. 3 inches
That's
tall.
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
sell,
Pretty good.
I sell all of mine for $20 and they go like crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just
Somebody likes
depends
pickles
on
out there.
the market.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, Lee, are you on the line tonight?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
So we talked about this guy last time, Mac the maintenance elf, and so I just he's I'm actually currently working on the story for him, so I'm about halfway done that, and then but yeah, and then I just use cutting board oil to keep my for the skin tones. And yeah, I don't know.
That was great carving.
Any questions about it? I guess that we didn't answer last time, but that guy, and then I just kind of been moved on to this Santa Claus, just getting ready for Christmas. He's just got his suspenders on, hasn't had his jacket on yet, and then some people said that he was a little too skinny to be a Santa, but I think Santa is not actually really all that big. It's probably just the cookies and the puffy jacket. Because if you're traveling at light speed delivering presents in an open sleigh, you'd have to have a pretty big warm jacket on. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Nice
then,
carving. I really like this carving. This is really well done.
He's got some like something in the eyes, right? He's like he knows what you're doing. That's
He knows
That's a
what
weight-
list you're on.
Weight Watchers Santa.
yeah.
I have a question for Lee on the previous carving, Mark. If you, how did you write that caution on that bucket? Like, what did you use to do that?
So in one of the previous videos or meetings, Mark was talking about making your own like decal. So basically, I just printed that off from the computer. I just I took a screenshot and then sized it down. Kind of guessed how big I thought it would be. I sized it down, and then it took like 2 tries until I got it to about the right size. And then I printed it off and then cut it out, and then painted the bucket the same color to match the. So I just Googled caution signs, and then printed out the little caution sign and glued it on, and then I have a clear coat over top of it to keep it kind of all together, so it won't lift or anything.
Good idea. Thanks.
And that's how I did in our carving competition. I had the little no parking sign. I did the same thing on that, except for I put it on the back of a pop can. I just cut out a rectangle on a pop can and glued it on, and then I got 2 little rivets and just put it in so it looked like it'd be like a sign, and then painted the wood dowel silver to give it the full look. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, Lee. Any questions, comments for Lee? Okay, thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
Dave, are you on the call tonight?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
figured out how to unmute it again. Anyways, yeah, I tried to do a couple for the competition before, and everyone I screwed up in such a way that it didn't look anything like I intended it to look. So this is the first one. Like I said, I felt was maybe good enough to share with people. So it came back in 2010. I got a magazine, Wood Carving Illustrated magazine, and did one project from there. And back when it was new, and I kept the magazine, and this was in that as well. And I decided to try that one. It's Dave Stetson's carving, and I seen some other carvings of an old world Santa with a green suit and the brown fur on it, and I liked the way it looked, so I decided to paint it this way because everybody's got a red Santa.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's what I did. It's a little tiny one. It's like 1 inch by 1 inch, and it was 4 inches tall. So,
is that a toothpick?
That's a toothpick for his walking stick. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I've got another one I'm working on that I want to maybe get done in the next week or so. But it's a flat plane Santa. So.
That's great, Dave. I think you're ready for our next competition. You're going to be ready.
Well, we'll try for that.
That's good. Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Dave? Okay, Bob, I think you're on the Zoom call tonight.
Yes, I am. Yeah. These were just they were in the wood carving magazine. There were just nativity scenes. They're sort of a relief carving nativity scene. I just started making them individually like that, but they came in 4 to a group, and once I started making them individually, they asked me if I could put hinges on them. So I put hinges on them and put 4 of them together.
Yeah, I think I got it there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to make a few sets of those. So that took me a little bit longer than individual. But anyway, they turned out pretty good.
Really nice. They're pretty small, are they, Bob?
Yes, they are. Well, they're about 2.5 inches high.
Really nice.
Oh, those were just some relief Santa that we did at one of our clutches. And well, actually the other 2 Santas too, they were done at a different time, the same clutch though, but at a different week. So we're just experimental Santas, but they all turned out pretty good.
Very good. Any questions for Bob?
No, they look really good though, Bob. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Wayne, what on earth are we looking at here?
Well, it's your fault. You carved a stocking for your granddaughter there, and it was a magnificent job, and I really fell in love with it. But I'd already carved ornaments for both my granddaughters, so I got to thinking, well, Bubba, he doesn't get much attention come Christmas time, so what would he like to get for Christmas? And I figured a shotgun, a fishing rod, and a case of Bud Light would make it pretty good holiday for him. And I was going to get him some tickets to the Daytona 500, but they're pretty costly. So anyway, this is what he's getting this year. And it was a lot of fun to do it. Once in a while, you have to just let your hair down if you got any and do something like that. Something I was going to show here, not relating to that at all, but earlier somebody mentioned shiny eyes and what they did to, and I think you said a drop of epoxy or whatever. I found, I don't know how, if you can see this or not. I see John Paul's picture up in the corner, but how do I show you a picture?
I can see it.
You got it.
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see it. Okay. It's Americana, and it's called, I think it's triple thick, brilliant brush on gloss glaze. And that's exactly what it is. It goes on, and if I do a little bird or anything like that, just put a drop it on the eye and it just pops. It just almost as if you put a glass eye in there. So anyway,
And that's water-based, Wayne?
yeah, it's Americana. It's the same as I got it at the dollar store. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it at the dollar store, but it cost $2.50. So,
Yeah.
but that
Oh,
and
very good.
one other thing, while I've got the spotlight here, somebody mentioned about everybody's got red Santas, so he done a green one. Well, these are what I do, and I don't know if are they showing up on the screen?
They
or-
are. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so that's I probably do 100, 150 of these a year, but they don't all have blue hats. But anyway,
Really nice.
This is what I
Really
really like to do.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
Good
It's,
job
uh,
on the stocking.
It's Richard again. It was Americana, triple thick. And what's the last part?
Brilliant brush on gloss. Might even be a number. Let me look and see. I don't see I know on their colors they do have a number, but I don't see a number here. So.
Thank
But
you.
I did. I bought it at the dollar store.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Wayne? Thanks, Wayne. Kevin.
Hey, well, I had bought this little bell and I have no idea when. It's been sitting in the basement for years and years. And then you were inspiring me with trying to think of some ornaments. So I took the little guy and just carved a little Santa face into it. Nothing too fancy. One of the challenges though that I have is I like to have different colors, but it's always tough when you have the rim of Santa's hat is white and Santa's hair is white, so I try to do a little bit of something different just to try to make the difference between the two of them. But it was a fun little one. You can see the bottom of his beard there that's where the chip chunked out. So I took out a few more to make it look like I really meant to do that.
Yeah.
But no, he was a fun little one. He's a fun little guy to do, and I'm glad I actually was able to pick it up and get it done. I do have another one here just to show you. This is kind of a neat thing here. If you can see it, it's an egg.
You're gonna have to pull it down a little lower. Good.
Right there. Okay. So I took an egg and then I cut it into 4, and then I carved it up so it sits like this. And so it's got 4 different little Santa Clauses, and there's a hinge on each one of them, working on trying to make some faces. But that was a fun little project.
That's
and then
really neat.
And then on the outside, I just did a little bit of chip carving, and then I painted in the chips just to give a little bit of a winter scene on the outside of it. But I just thought I'd share that with you as well.
That's beautiful, Kevin.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that's really unique.
Yeah, so there's just a couple of things.
Thanks, Kevin. Any comments or questions for Kevin? Okay, Craig, you got a couple of slides here.
Yes, I saw a video with I think it was Dave Stetson on YouTube, and I fell in love with these little Santas. So I started carving. I carved a lot of them, as you can see in the next one. I think I carved close to 20 of them, and I'm selling them. They're selling very good, actually. And yeah, I just copied it off he said he could make them in 20 minutes. The first one took me about 8 hours, and I got it done in a couple hours, but I don't know how he does it in 20 minutes. I couldn't do it that fast yet, but yeah, and they're cute little things. They're about 5 inches high, and they can stand on a table or something. I didn't use them as an ornament, but they could be used as an ornament, I guess. I mean, everyone's a little bit different, as you can see.
They're really nice, really unique.
Yeah, I thought they were unique, and that's why I did it, actually.
Yeah.
So that's the choir boys. There's one on the right is just, I think it was the first one I did. The one on the left came from Wood Carvers Illustrated. the last issue came out, it's about the last 3 or 4 pages of the magazine. I liked it so much, I decided to copy that one too. So I've made 2 or 3 of them. They're not all finished, but I think it's out of focus, looks like. Anyway, I just carved him up pretty quick.
Oh, they're all really nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, this Dave Stetson Santa, what size block is that? Like, is it 1 by 1 or?
No, you couldn't. I just took the overall sizes and designed it myself. You don't have a pattern. I just did it by what I thought looked nice. Yeah. And that's what you have to kind of think about what you're doing and kind of just sort of figure it out. But it works on a triangular base. If you notice, it's a triangular shape all the way to the top. And I just made different pom-poms and different angles and different beards, and some beards are in the wave of the wind blowing them and some are not. I just changed them up like crazy. And believe it or not, they're selling very, very good.
Any questions for Craig?
How much do you sell them for?
I'm selling them for $50 and getting
Thank
it. People are buying 3 at a time.
Nice.
So I got to start making more now.
Very nice. Thanks, Craig. Larry, I have a few slides here.
Alrighty. Can you hear me this time? I think I got it right.
Okay, we hear you.
Good, thank you. Anyway, this one here I did for our my partner and I, our 10-year anniversary, and I do some of these carvings, and then I get her to paint them. So it's kind of neat where you carve something and you sort of see it a certain way, but then somebody that's painting it, they sort of see it a little bit of a different way, and it's kind of neat. It brings a little bit different of creativity to it. So this here is something that we'll hang on the tree each year. That yeah, like say for our 10 years Christmas together.
Nice.
This one here I wanted to do the gloves. I had a bit of a time with this because it has a knot that runs right down from the hat right down to the feet on the one side. So carving it, of course, it showed up, but also in our painting it, well, I had to cover up the knots and the gloves because the hands, there was a knot where the hands were. So I actually did your idea where I cut the hands off and made some squares and made some gloves. And then I wanted to do something a little different. So I did the maple leaf. So he comes from the Hudson Bay Company on his way there. And same thing with the cane. And but anyway, it worked out good with your idea, whereas it doesn't have to be all in one piece of wood. You can, something's not working, you can take that off, add a head, a hat, a hand. So anyway, that's what I did on that. So had some fun with that.
I also like the way you did the shoes, you know, just a little bit of detail there, and
Yeah, just
you know, the uppers versus the sole. It looks smart.
Thank you. I keep kind of grubby looking a little bit. And then I had fun with this. I'm trying to do women. I'm trying to do a lot of women's faces in clay right now. Women, as most of you guys know, are more harder to do than you do an ugly gnome and it looks beautiful. You do an ugly lady, doesn't look so good. So with her, I want to do honor grandma. So I did that as a thing this year for her, getting grandpa already, and did some stuff on the apron and that rather than just having a white apron. And I used a hot glue gun for on the stick and in the pot, and I made little dots for the cookies, and then I painted them. And I wanted to make a wood stove or something, so rather than her just standing there. But
so I've went to paint this Santa 2 or 3 times, and the picture doesn't do him justice. He looks so good the way he is. I know I should do some black in the eyes and a little bit of a white pupil, but he just, I think he just looks good the way he is. So the candle is inspired by a gentleman by the name of Diallo on YouTube, and he has a whole bunch of different style of carvings. He does little bottles, candles, and things like that with little faces on them. And his videos are quite good. He doesn't say a word, so I'm not quite sure what even language he speaks. That's finished in kind of like an opaque white, the picture doesn't really do it justice, just because I wanted to kind of mimic a candle. But and then I have them on a little piece of apple wood. I have a whole bunch of apple wood that I use in my smoker. So I cut off a little piece and put a little bit of finish on it, and went from there.
Turned out beautifully. Now, let me ask you the same question I asked Sue, because your hair, beard, mustache are really well done. So what tip would you share?
Very, very sharp tools, like everybody says. Blake Lunsford has a really neat way to do a mustache that actually just turns out really well. He goes with a fairly large gouge first, and that way in the bottom where you have the little triangle cuts, it doesn't chip away quite so bad. So if anyone goes back and watches that video, especially in the mustache area, it's actually fairly easy. So yeah.
Okay, that's great.
And the finish on the Santa is just a Minwax 209 natural with a burnt sienna oil, and I got that tip from JP.
Mhm. Okay, any other comments or questions for Mike?
Looks
What
good,
was
Mike.
the, how do you spell the name, the last name of that Lunsford?
Lundsford, and his first name is Blake. He has 3 or 4 videos. So for this Santa, he actually has 3 or 4 videos where they go step by step, and he's broken it down. And at the end, I think he actually even paints it. I just haven't got that far with the paint.
Okay, thanks.
If I could say something about about that carving there, Mike, I've seen it at the club there, and that picture does not do it any justice, because it looks a lot better in person.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It looks a little bit more rich.
Yeah, it's
Mark?
it looks better in person.
Mark, if I could comment too, Blake Lunsford is a gentleman that runs the Saturday afternoon wood carving
International.
International, and he's a heck of a nice guy, very approachable. I highly recommend him.
And perhaps I can add to that. I've actually sent him pictures and commented on some of Blake's stuff, and he always gets back to me within an hour or two, and he's very complimentary, and he just seems like a nice guy.
Great, thanks for that, Mike. Those are great carvings.
Thank you.
Okay, here's I've been doing a few more bells this year. I have a lot of fun doing these. These ones here hang on the tree. This would just sit on a tabletop. These are the ones that I did on YouTube recently. So if you're interested in giving one a try, give it a try. It's a lot of fun. I start by going on a lathe just to turn down the top and just a portion of the top of the head of the bell, and then this flange at the bottom. And that just gives me a sense of how to make sure everything's concentric. Leave one corner of the turned carving available for the face and the nose and all the rest of it. And they're a lot of fun. Give that a try. You'll enjoy it. This is the little elf that I made for my grandchildren this year, and you can see how big it is. Pretty small. It's just standing on my hand there. But I put their names beside on the little script there with little check marks that they're on the nice list. This is lacewood. I don't know if you guys have ever seen lacewood, but oh, what a gorgeous hardwood that is. That's lacewood with just a wax finish on it, and it's just a gorgeous base. I couldn't believe it. And you guys have been talking about pickles. Here's what I did with pickles. And for a little while I was carving, before COVID, I was carving with a group, an evening group here in Kingston, and got them hooked as I got Roger hooked on pickles. And I brought the blanks in a mason jar, and we got a kick out of that. So those were kind of fun. Any questions on any of that? Okay, and John, I put, John, I'm sorry about the quality of the video or the photos here, but it was just off of
Yeah, no problem.
Facebook Messenger, but you can talk to these.
Yeah, I just wanted to like talk about blending and highlights and shadows. I can't see in my. Can you get me on mine, Mark?
Yeah,
Get me
actually, I
on
was just going to get you to talk about these ones
Oh,
here.
okay.
Is that
Well,
okay?
The snowman. Talking about the shadows. Well, I'll let me go to this first, and then I can explain the other stuff.
Yeah, actually, John, I was just I just included this as carvings like the others that we're going to talk about. This.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
think we're-
okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have time because we've
Oh,
we've
okay,
got a
okay.
considerable amount of time, and maybe next time we're together we can talk about the painting technique.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, so those are the few carvings. I did like 100 this Christmas. So I learned a lot from painting, that's for sure. And yeah, just using the wet. When I wet the wood first, I find that I can blend the colors in a little bit better. It stays wet. The acrylic paint stays wet. So the shadows on the snowman, like the arms, it looks like it's probably 2 inches thick, which is only a ½ inch thick. So by using a lot of the shadows and the highlights, you like the tree is only a ½ inch thick, but it looks like it's about 1 inch thick or 2 inches thick. So my biggest thing is showing, doing shadows and highlights that creates depth in your carvings. Any questions?
I like this one here, John. The snowman.
Yeah, it turned out really good.
Really looks sharp. Yeah.
And it's only a ½ inch thick, but you would swear it was like a couple inches thick.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, any questions for John Paul? Okay, now Murray did promise to do some caroling for us. So I'm going to stop the share here, Murray. Is that okay? And you can take the screen. This is the part we've been looking forward to. You're caroling. Right?
He's sleeping.
He's working on the lyrics. He's writing a Christmas song.
Me, 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 me. His wife gave him the hook.
He's working something up. You're on mute, Murray.
You'll have to keep talking for a moment. I've got to find these things.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Computer hung up.
These musical artists, they're temperamental. Okay, John, you did send a tip and trick here, so let's talk about that.
Okay, here's a little tip. I made these little was by accident. The laid over my bench, and I was having my carving in front of me, and I noticed on the paper the shadow of the head, so I could duplicate my carving. So I made those little cradles. So I placed the carving on the cradle, and then I drew out the pattern of my. So those little cradles can move as big as you want. You can, if you have small carving or bigger carving, you can move it, place it back wherever you want. And I traced out the shadow of my carving, and it created the pattern for the next one. So that's the next carving I did. I just did it now. I just finished today. Was my elf was a business card holder. So these are my elves that helped me in my business. That's why I do so many carvings and do so many ornaments.
And you wouldn't really even need a finished carving to do this. You could use a clay model, couldn't you? And use the same cradle.
Anything. Yeah, true that. Yeah, it was fun. It was easy.
Okay, any questions on that, folks? Thanks, John, for that tip.
No problem.
And Murray, the singer, are you ready?
Almost ready. me.
Great.
You.
Like Beyonce, he has to have everything just right on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, I have a question for you on your bells. I tried to make 2 of those, and it ended up I had to cut both off because it didn't turn out like a bell.
It didn't turn out like a bell.
Oh,
So can you see me right now, Bob?
yes, I can.
Okay, so here's a small one that I had just taken off the lathe.
Right.
And so you can see I've done the top and I've done the flange at the bottom. So now I know it's all concentric. So now I just carve in between. So those corners, you pick a corner and that's where your face is going to go. And so if this is the corner I'm going to use for the face, then these three corners I knock off. And I start by, just cutting those like, it looks like a cylindrical can on three sides. And then I shape it in like a bell. But that one corner you keep available because that's going to become your nose and your beard and lips.
The face.
The eyebrows, all those things are going to protrude. The eye sockets are going to be cut in. And so there is a YouTube video up on that now, Bob, that's fairly quick. I think it's 12 minutes or so. Take a look at that and you'll see how to do it. If you don't have a lathe or one's not available to you, just do your best to try to make that top first. So you know what the circle is going to be at this narrowest spot, and make this bottom part so you know what the circle will be at the largest spot. And then that'll give you a sense of how to keep each piece concentric from top to bottom. So that's kind of what you start with. And then as you start carving away, here's one where I carved all of those three corners off, got the shape of the bell, and then started working on the face. And I had all kinds of room for that face because that was the fourth corner, right?
Right. Okay.
You can really make a protruding nose. Of course, the eye sockets are all going to be cut in really deeply. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hey, Mark, did you use a 2x2 for that belt?
This was about, it was an oddball. It was kind of like 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. So this was a tiny one, but you can do any size you want, Furtus.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and like the pickles, once you've done a couple of them, you just go crazy. They're everywhere in the house now. Murray,
I am ready.
You're the man. Take over.
Okay, me.
Jingle bells, jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring, snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun.
So my friends, that's it.
So tell everybody how you did that now.
Now, if you wanted to try, there's a number of different apps you can get for your cell phone. That's where I really start from. And if you do a carving that you've got a mouth that kind of is open or it's close to a real mouth, nose, etc. This program's called, a little app is called Revive, REVIVE. And it just put the carving in, and you can choose a first person a main person singing, the second person singing back up. And when you do that, all of a sudden it takes off. It almost frightened me when I first did it. But
and of course, you can do it with people's faces too. If you have a photograph of your family or someone, you can animate everybody's face. It's
and they've got other apps that you can make somebody who's really shy all of a sudden become a rock and roll singer. That's fun, and they're not particularly impressed by it, but it's been a joy. But this app business on the cell phone is just an absolute joy. It's like carving, but you don't make any chips. You just have lots of fun sitting with your head down, and you got a neck problem after because you can't straighten up. You look like a shepherd's staff. Anyway, that's it.
That's very good, Murray. You came through for us. Thanks. Now I can only imagine how many singing pickles we're going to see next Zoom call.
That would be priceless, really.
So listen, folks, that was a great call. Thank you very much. We didn't get to John Paul's piece on painting, but we sure did enjoy, I certainly enjoyed all of the carvings that you sent in your explanation of them. So thank you for that. And John, we'll get to your painting piece on our January call for sure, okay?
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
So folks, I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and happy holidays, and get a lot of sharp knives under the tree. And we'll have a great year next year. So we'll see you in January.